Alzheimer patients or Parkinson patients, what will be the best stem cells to give to them, or the peptides? I will clear the picture on peptides, okay? Now, when we talk about Alzheimer, it's part of aging neurodegenerative, okay? So the brain is going down because after 40, you're losing 10,000 neurons a day. So are you going to say you have good memory as you age? Of course not. The frontal lobe itself, and unfortunately, 66 of your brain cells start to age at 20, while the frontal lobe is fully developed by the age of 24. And we are talking about 40 moving to 60 and 70. Obviously, the frontal lobe is shrinking, especially when you're drinking. After 60, your brain shrinks 30% faster, if you are a drinker in the past, okay? So now we have to think of the brain then. Okay, can we complement with brain stem cells to our brain to make us sharper in a way? Yes, of course. And obviously you need the frontal lobe. And it's the same situation with Alzheimer patient. They can remember something 50, 60 years ago, but they will not remember anything even within the 15 minutes. You can be introducing yourself to him 5-10 minutes to the patient and 5 or 10 times, but after some time he forget your name immediately. So that means there is not short-term memory. Again, with autistic children, again, there's no interaction with the eye. That means there's no focus. So you need interaction, you need the frontal lobe again. This is only one of the examples I'm giving you. So of course, when we treat the brain, we also have Parkinson patient. So what is the best stem cells for Parkinson patient? If someone would say, I will give the mesenchymal cells for Parkinson patient, I will not say it's the best stem cells. Because the mesenchymal cells are multipotent cells, they are tissue cells. When we say tissue cells, means it will be good for the joints. Okay, it will good to be turning, it may turn into the osteoblast, or it may turn into the cartilage, okay, or muscles, but it will never turn into a brain cells. There's no way it can turn into organ cells. Because when you talk about organ, we're talking about parenchymal organs. So heart, liver, kidney, brain, these are parenchymal organs. So you have to understand, the stem cell, which some of the authors are writing around, they always say, oh, you have the totipotent stem cells, you have the embryonic cells, which are pluripotent, they can turn into all types of cells. But again, we don't use the pluripotent cells, it's because embryonic cells act like a cancer cells. So that means they can turn into cancer cells too. And moving forward, after organogenesis, there was a formation of organs and limbs. All the cells has been formed, the 400 over different packs has been formed. And this is where you go into precursor cells and multipotent cells. The tissue cells, there are 8 of them, but there's also 400 over different types of parenchymal organ cells, which most of the time people in America is not very aware of. We call them precursor, or you can call them progenitor cells. You can find them in PubMed, and these are what we call predetermined one lineage cells. That means it's a ticket of no return. Or organogenesis has been formed, that means these cells has become fetal cells. Fetal cells are predetermined cells, and they will be the best cell because they're 0 age. Okay, so this is something which the European has been using for the last 200 years through my exposure with the Soviets and the German and the Swiss and the Austrian, trained in Heidelberg by my master for 40 over years. I still support a lot with Heidelberg University. They are good for immunology. They have a few Nobel Prize winners there, and there are many Nobel Prize winners. Today, we still fund Heidelberg University in terms of stem cell research. I spent all my life making multi-millions, I would say. Started with $2,500, and today we own 46 hospitals and clinics. But I only have a basic salary all my life. I never have a dividend all my life. I don't need all the money in the world. Okay, all the millions, multi-millions we have made as a company. Of course, we also treat the untreatable. We treat the poor without making money. They went back all to research, and this is when we have been funding Heidelberg University. We also fund a number of universities in US, okay, including University of California in Irvine, and these are some of the paths which we have been moving very well. Okay, so I'm opening up to the field for you to understand there's not just one type of stem cells or one type of peptides. And what are peptides then? Now, the stem cells itself, along the way, you take a component of the stem cells, you can have the exosomes, or you can have the peptides, or you can have the extracts. Will they do the job too, like the stem cells? Let me tell you, they do, but not to the level of the stem cells. So if someone would say, which is better, the stem cells or the cells and the exosomes or the peptides or the extracts, it depends. But obviously, nothing will be better than the stem cells, because when you give the stem cells, they are the super cells, they are the queen cells, the queen bees. Just imagine the cells, you're born with 37.2 trillions of live cells in your body, okay? You also are born with cancer cells. You have cancer cells all along, even as a baby. But you have a very strong immune system because the thymus gland, which is born bigger than your heart, are producing the T cells, the immune cells. But the thymus gland itself starts to shrink in the 20s, and by the age of 65, you don't have any immunity from the thymus gland because there's no more production. So that means to say the cancer cells become stronger. Where the thymus gland goes down, the cancer cells become very strong, and that explains the reason why there's a risk of mortality coming in. 2 out of 5 of us will be cancer patients after 60, and in other parts of the world, it could be 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 3. Again, the other reasons why you die, you don't exist anymore, or you expire is because you have an exhaustion, which is a hallmark of aging, and that is the stem cell exhaustion. By the age of 18, we didn't realize how fast we age. By the age of 18, you only have 45% left of your stem cells. By the age of 30, you only have 25%. If you don't have, you die. Okay? By the age of 60, everyone is asking me, Mike, you're 63, so how much stem cell you have then? Then I would say probably I may be having around 5 to 10. But most of us after 60, we only have 5% left of stem cells. So how are you going to live to 120 then? In US, everyone is saying, oh, we will live to 120. We are good with the longevity. We have all the programs that extend longevity. And that means your lifespan. But what's the point if you don't have quality life, health span? Health span for Americans or Europeans are around 70. In Europe, it's 65. Okay? So that means, what's the point of living longer if you don't have the quality life? You're living in pain or in suffering or lying in pain. That is not what we want. So you want to expand lifespan, you must expand health span. But health span depends on the age of your organs. That means the biological age of your organ. When we take the blood from you, that contains the protein. You have a younger protein for your grandson or granddaughter, and you will have an older protein for that matter. The protein age itself is your biological age. So we can check by just taking 5 drops of your blood and check your biological age, apart from looking at your biological age organ. But as far as we are concerned, when we have to look at the age of a person, I always say, I have to look at the biological age of all your 78 organs. And the stem cells in your body is not just one type or 2 types. In every organs of yours, the 78 organs of yours have all the stem cells. If that organ do not have the stem cell, it will not regenerate in the first place. You need regenerations because the division of cells is 40 to 60 times. After that, there's no more division, the cells perish. Again, in certain later part, for some of us, we also have senescent cells which refuse to die. And this is another part which is not good because they become zombie cells, they will also become cancer cells. So it's not good that the cells don't die at the same time. So there's a lot of things we have to understand in terms of aging, in terms of degenerations of our organ. So if someone will ask me, for all the therapies you have in the world, what is the best treatments to live longer? In my personal analysis of life, being an author of 50 over books, including on bioregenerative therapies, I will always say the most important thing is still the stem cells. Because you have to regenerate the organs. Otherwise your organ is going down. All the organs in your body shrink, except the heart, which may enlarge, which is again not a good sign. your heart starts to age at 40. By the age of 70, you only have 50% the function of a 30-year-old. Imagine how young you're aging. Your eyes start to age at 40. By 40, you're losing 10,000 neurons. By 40, you're losing 1 to 2% of your hormones too. So that also explains why you have to take care of your hormones. Because the lady is moving to menopause, and after menopause, she will age 30% faster too. And the men are lucky, they do have the menopause called andropause, but they age and last longer. So there is a lot of ways we have to look into things. Then the lady will say it's unfair for me to be a woman compared to the man. Okay? On top of that, woman has 2 times the fat cells of men. So the woman will have more fats in the body than the man. So if your boyfriend or spouse is taking a plate of meal, you better take the half meal. Okay? Because you have 2 times the fat cells. And each fat cell is expanded by 5 times. So that could be a variance of 10 times. There's no difference in amount of fat cells for a thin woman and a fatter woman, or a fatter man with a thinner man. They have the same amount of fat cells. It's just that the size of the fat cells is bigger. Okay, so in our dictionary, if someone would ask me, can you slim down someone who is very big or obese? Obviously, we can do that. We have to look into the hormones. We also have to look into the metabolic rate of the patient. That is important. As you age, you have a poorer circulation, so that is not good for the heart, because the heart is a vascular organ and considered the most important organ, because the brain will snatch 20% of the blood, which is providing the oxygen, from the body first. The brain snatches everything first. So you are as young as your brain. And I said yesterday, if by looking at your face, we can analyze the IQ of a person to a certain extent. We have treated thousands of Down syndrome children, or children which have undergone, we call it global developmental delay children. These are neurodevelopmental disease, including autism. So we analyze facial expression of everyone. You don't have to be a beautiful, handsome face, but there's something about your IQ in your brain, in your expression. Okay. Again, I always say, if someone is doing everything very slow, you are actually aging. If you are comprehending everything in a very slow way, that means your brain is working in a very slow way. So everything must be very fast. You should be multitasking in a way. That is a form of training for your brain. I always say your brain, just like the heart, you need exercise. Okay, you need to have at least 2 hours critical thinking. That means you can't retire totally for life. This is my dictionary. Okay, so moving forward, coming back to the peptides. Okay, so there are many types of things we can think about. Okay. So I've already talked about a lot of publications. We are moving into autisms and moving into Down syndrome children with Heidelberg University. But basically, my own experience with my wife of 44 years, we have done a lot for the children. I'm probably an autistic child in the 60s, but I was kicked out of school many times. I don't speak until when I was 7 years old. You know, I'm considered probably an autistic child. They call me Dumbo until today. My family name is called Dumbo. My mom thought I'm dumb. I hide in the dark. I'm afraid of people. So all the characteristics are there. I don't have friends until I'm 10 years old. Okay, very little friends. Then I see in my own son. My second son is autistic, and my wife would not like him to be branded as autistic, but that is a fact. And he went on to be good. We gave him the brain cells. And he improved so much. He had high grades in chemistry, although it's a worst subject for him. But he did very well and moved to another level. Okay, so I would say we can do a lot for autism. We have done 2 peer-reviewed journals. I treated a few celebrities, children in Hollywood on autism, but I can't reveal the name. They went to Switzerland in the past. So we have done thousands of autistic children, because in the Middle East, it's a Muslim country. Every family has autistic children and Down syndrome children. Every family. Let me tell you, because they marry among cousins. And there's less than 1 million Emiratis in UAE. Although the population is 9 to 10 million now, that means the rest are all foreigners. And they have to marry among themselves. So there is also a genetic problem here. So again, with Down syndrome children, if we can treat Down syndrome children who cannot even read A to Z, and they went on including to university, in our experience, there's an American kid I treated at 19 many years ago, 20 years ago. Her sister is a doctor here in Florida. She's doing her own business. She's on her own. She's in her 40s now. So is there a reason, is there anything to treat all this disorder? Yes. Give the right brain cells. That's all. For all of us, you're losing memory. Can you be sharper as you age? Yes. You have to complement with the CNS, which comprises all the brain, and you can also go into targeted, we give the frontal lobe. That's what I did, okay? I go around 10 countries every day. I mean every month, sorry. Every month I'm in 10 countries. This journey of mine is 6 weeks. I came back from Monaco, right to here. I came to LA, to Dallas, and now I'm moving back to LA, and then I will move to Greece because I have 2 centers in Greece, a medical center. I have also in Santorini for the rich and famous. We do treat a number of rich and famous, including the president. And from there, I moved to Hainan Island. In Hainan Island, the Chinese government allows stem cells to be done there legally. I'm recognized by the Chinese government. I have 6 stamps on my face in China. I'm recognized by the Chinese government, although I'm not a Chinese. In that sense, my grandfather came from China, that's all. I spent, I told you, 30 odd years in Germany and Switzerland, but they like the Chinese roots there, okay? So again, we work with a lot of companies, but with Heidelberg University, we have been doing a lot of very fantastic things, even with iPSC. It wasn't just the Japanese who is good with the iPSC, the Germans has been doing that all along. Okay, and today all our therapies are accepted in Japan and approved in Japan and sold in Japan, for that matters. All our injectables, they may not be approved by FDA, they're all approved in Japan. That means the thousands of Japanese doctors are buying our products and selling legally, including the stem cell peptides. There's no problem to sell in Japan. And anyway, I'm the chairman of regenerative medicine of Japan. I'm not a Japanese, but I'm the chairman and head the thousands of doctors in Japan. So these are some of our research in Heidelberg University. We are continuing with that. And then I was with the head of stem cell research. We do iPSC in the old days. We are still continuing with a lot of studies. And being an author of 50 old books, we are still continuing to have more books and co-author. So through all my medical team and scientific team and also our PhD, we have a lot of immunologists in the lab. We spend a lot of time in the lab. So we go into very precise thing of looking at things. So if you want to say you have a problem as you age, all of us have a problem after 45. If you look at your lab work, you will look through and you will find a lot of profiling of your organs and misfunction of your organs. Okay, let's say you have a high liver enzyme, that means your liver is not good then. So we have to bring that, we will look into your HbA1c, and then we look into your sugar glucose level, and you say, oh, you are on the borderline, or you're already a diabetic. So can you do something with diabetic patient? Of course. We are not going to tell them, oh, you have to go with the insulin or metformin for the rest of your life. I know metformin has an anti-aging effect, but on the long-term side, in my dictionary, all drugs, including supplements which your body do not need, will also harm your kidney. The lifespan of your kidney is 50 to 75 years old. 50 to 55 years old, 50 to 55 is not long. What about my pancreas? It's also 50 to 55. What about my intestine? It's 50 to 55. And you lose your muscle at 30, you lose your hair at 30, you lose your fertility, and your manpower is 35. So if you look carefully, there's so many 30, 40, 50. And the strongest organ and the only organ in the medical world will be the liver. The liver is the strongest organ. It can regenerate all the time. You cut away 90% of the liver, it can still regenerate, and it starts to age at 75. So the drinkers can start drinking and continue drinking. Okay, they can regenerate. But please understand the drinking affects the pancreas, but the pancreas is only 50 to 55. Okay, so in all the organs, we can do the regeneration. That is something unique about what the Europeans has been doing, which I believe something has been shown to Americans who thought all along you only have 1 or 2 types of stem cells. If I treat any patients, we will never give you 1 or 2 types of stem cells. Yes, we will give you the mesenchymal cells, but along the way, you are, let's say, 65. You are a diabetic. So you obviously probably have also a heart problem, and your kidney function will go down over time. And you will have fatty liver. At the same time, you also Alzheimer's having some symptoms, you're forgetting. So if I had to treat you, what are the cells or the peptides I can give you? Now just imagine the peptides are just the cheaper alternative. Okay? So someone cannot afford the stem cells, then you can afford the peptides then. They cost maybe 20 times cheaper or 25 times cheaper. It's affordable. Sometimes I would say a lot of things are affordable. But sometimes when we went through a lot of middlemen, then the price become higher, that's all. Okay, there's no price in medicine. It's like you going to a lawyer of 55 years old, you go to a young lawyer of 25 years old, the older one will charge you a higher fee. Okay, just like you go for a hairstylist, a trainee and a master. So it's the same situation here. So in other words, coming back to the patient, I'm saying about 65 with all this series of problems, for all of us, even if you are having an Alzheimer or Parkinson patient, let's say for Alzheimer, I give you the frontal lobe, I give you the brain, okay, because you are 65, you don't walk very stably, I may even have to give you the hippocampus to balance your movement, okay. Again, you are diabetic, so obviously I have to give you the islets or the Langerhans, that means the islet cells. If you don't give the islet cells, you will not see a good result. Let me tell you, for the diabetic patient. You need the alpha, beta, delta, exocrine pancreas. I know many people will say, oh, you have diabetes. Yes, we can reverse the diabetes. How? You must give the right cells or the peptides. Because every cell, every 400 different types of cells, and stem cells or peptides or exosomes, there are 500 over of them too, not the one or two you think of. They all have different molecules. No same cells have the same molecules. Every cell has different molecules. The homology of or the amino acid structure of every cells are different. So you don't expect the liver cells to become the brain cells. You won't go that way, or the other way around. Or heart cells become another organ cells. It won't. So again, you need the same proteins. All cells has different protein structure. So molecules, proteins, amino acid. That means the homology must be of the same. It is important to understand this. Okay. So for that reason, you can also understand why insulin or pigs made from pigs are given to diabetic patients. Because diabetic patients have insulin problem. So they were using an animal ingredients of pig. I mean, we all know that. Okay, so there is an animal element in all of us. Because man itself is the most intelligent animal. In our dictionary, being taught stem cell research with aborted fetuses from the Soviets, imagine we take the aborted fetuses taught by our masters in the 80s, and we extract the organs, cells, and give it to the patient. Those was in the days. These days, you can't do anything like this. I was also exposed to the military hospital of China. We do this. Military hospitals are independent of FDA. They don't listen to FDA. They have their own FDA. They don't have to announce to FDA. Same in different parts of the world. There are certain countries ruled by royals. They don't listen to FDA. They set their own guideline. I know in USA, you listen to the FDA. You have to go with the FDA. Otherwise, you will run into problem. You're not allowed to practice stem cells to a certain extent. You're only allowed for research purpose. Okay, but not the rest of the world. The rest of the world are opening up for your information. Japan has been very liberal, and that is the reason why 30 years ago, Japanese with a few Nobel Prize research went into the War Nobel Prize for mesenchymal cells with iPSC. 30 years ago, we went into another form of stem cells. They use pig stem cells because they're big consumers of pork. They have been getting the islet cells to treat diabetic patients. Okay, so if someone will ask me, how many diabetic patients you have treated? I would say we have done 8 publications in US with University of California on diabetes type 1 and 2. And we have also written books on diabetes. We have a peer-reviewed publications on treatments of diabetes type 2 in UK. So there is a lot of things we've been doing. Yes, we can reverse all kinds of aging, including diabetes, to a certain extent. Okay, we can cut down. Our main purpose is to find the root of the symptoms and treat the root, and not just to treat the symptoms. We don't want to treat the symptoms. The symptoms is only for the day. If you are having hypertension, you're taking statin every day, and you don't take for the next 1 week, the doctor will say you will run into the risk of stroke. Okay, so you are going to take for the rest of the life. If we can find some solution to reduce the intake of the drugs, reliance on the drug, and improve on your heart together with the lifestyle changes, okay, and give you the cardiomyocyte of the stem cells of the peptides, it will work well. So it's the same situation for diabetic patient. It's the same for other disorder. It's the same for liver. Okay, there's so many other things you can go along with. So this is our experience of treating and running it across 80 regions of the world, more than 80 regions I would say, and more than 80,000 doctors, providing education. Education is our main love. Although in US we are not that popular compared to the rest of the world, we have 46 clinics, so that's a good part. I have contributed so much in biotech and research, very recognized in Japan and in China or some parts of the world, and I don't pay for front covers. I don't believe in paying anything for advertisement. I do not believe that. That means you're paying, you know. So in December, I was featured in Fortune. For the first time in Fortune history, they talk about stem cells and longevity. For the first time, they don't talk about longevity and stem cells, but it was released in the magazine. It's a world magazine, to the world. And I was also interviewed for 2 times by NASDAQ, being an innovator in stem cell research and in longevity. All these are found in the YouTube. You can go further. And I'm open to the idea of how to treat Alzheimer and Parkinson patient and dementia, and also on neurodevelopmental disorder for the children. Okay, there are a lot of solutions. Autism is a big part of it. Now, I spent all my life guided by a few masters, guided by the partners of Paul Nihans, the father of cell therapy, who treated Pope Pius XII to recover from his deathbed and live on for 12 years. And yes, it was on the deathbed. Okay, that was in Switzerland. You heard of the rich going to Switzerland to get revitalized. We are the manufacturers who provide the source. We are the source. We are the main source for your information. We still own a biopharmaceutical plant in Germany for the last 40 years. So I learned from all the greats of the world. I went to MIT in the later part to learn more with the people there. I was paid by the Kuwaiti king in WHO to present to WHO for the first time. Paid by the Kuwaiti king. I wasn't paid by the Malaysian government. The Kuwaiti king liked what I'm doing and they paid me for WHO, and the Malaysian government sent a delegation there. I was also representing Switzerland. I'm not a Swiss, but I represent Switzerland for healthcare into China. The first SME for China and the Swiss was a signing between 2 Chinese. And I'm a Chinese who represented Switzerland. Everyone pulled me out from the chair. They say you're not supposed to sign. But they didn't realize I was representing Switzerland on healthcare at that time. And there was a signing to send all the Chinese cancer patients to Switzerland. And that was with Qiqihua Hospital, the first bone marrow hospital in China on stem cell research. Of course, there's so many things I've done. I'm also appointed by the foreign trade of the German government to represent on healthcare between the Germans and the Chinese, and the Germans with the Indonesian and the Germans with the Malaysian. And was brought over together with Nobel Prize laureates, arranged by the Chinese government and the Hong Kong government in terms of meeting with the Nobel Prize laureates in 2018 in Hong Kong. I'll be with Shinya Namayaka, the Nobel Prize winner. I'll be sitting along with him in the stem cell panel hosted by the Chinese government this coming October in Beijing. In China, it's in Chengdu actually. Yeah. So there's so many things I believe I've done, and I believe I would like to do more in the field of neuro, which is my favorite subject. I would like to help every autistic children in the world. I would like to do that with a good heart, and I don't make money treating children, for your information. Same with my wife. I save a lot of animals and dogs. I treated also horses. Of course, we make money treating horses because they are 7 times the price of treating a human, because the doses is 7 times. So for the poor, we try not to make the money. I was featured in Japanese medical magazine. This is a manga of me, you know. It's a manga. They do a manga of me and they do an anime of me on my story. So there's so many things ongoing. I signed a contract with TikTok. TikTok came to me And TikTok is my exclusive agent for my Swiss product supplements. I manufacture everything in Switzerland. TikTok signed a contract for exclusivity for my supplements in Switzerland. The brand is called MF3 of Switzerland. Okay. Yes, and supplements. MF3 of Switzerland is in the booth. Okay. It's a multi-million contract. They came to me because they've been using the product for many years. Okay. They want a world exclusivity. I didn't give it to them. I only give them China. I didn't even give them Hong Kong. Okay, because I cannot let them control the whole world. Okay, they can control China. It's fine. Okay, I can think of the rest of the world. Okay, otherwise it'll be controlled. Okay. So that was a signing witnessed by the Prime Minister of Malaysia, and that was in Beijing, and it was a real signing, and this is a brother of TikTok. Okay, the elder cousin. He is the chief of marketing of Dumbo Shenzhen. Because in TikTok they have another name called Dumbo, okay? And there are so many things. I do research with Sinopharm. They came to me during the COVID to do more research on the vaccines and other things. I'm just showing you what I've done so far, but at the end, in my heart, I just want to help the unfortunate. I dream of a foundation to help children, lesser children of a greater God. I use the word greater God, and I call them lesser children. So there's many of these children around the world. They need help. They don't have money. They are not from rich family. They are alone there. If you don't treat them, they'll be there forever. They'll be a burden to society and the stigma. So it's high time you have to help these children. So can you help these Down syndrome children, these autistic children, or cerebral palsy, or global developmental delay children? Yes. The answer is yes. Give them a stronger brain cells. So there's so many things I've done. This is my hospital in Vietnam. I have many hospitals. And I always say lifespan depends on health span. This is something you must always remember. Most important is your health span. The greatest gift in life is always your health. For all the money in the world, I'm sent to Macau all the time. There's a lot of tycoon there. They're super rich, they're everything. But they didn't did the prevention in their early life. You see, most of us will only go to see our doctors at the later stage when you already have a problem or you look for the hospital. That was the latest stage. If someone would ask me, I would say prevention should start at 30. You start to prevent and take care of yourself at 30. But it's always never too late to start late if you know late. Okay? It's better than to do it when you have a problem. Okay? All of us will have a date with the hospital. None of us will say, oh, I won't go to the hospital. It's no way. I would say there's always a chance you will go, but try not to go too often and stay too long. Okay? If you do that too much, that means your frequency is there, and that means you will have your time is going to come soon. We don't want that time to come soon. So do understand, I used to say there are 700 or different types of stem cells. I'll be challenged by any of the professors or scientists or doctors here to say, Mike, you're saying you have 400 or different types of stem cells now. Last time you used to say 700, because out of the 700, there's some duplication. Mesenchymal cells are found in many parts of the body, including the liver. So when there are duplication, I don't call them the same type of cells. Okay? That means they are the same types of cells, you cannot call them another group of numbers. So coming back to the skin, you have 17 different types of them. Coming back to the liver, this is important. Your liver is a dustbin. Your liver is not just a filter, but it's a dustbin. So a lot of cells are collected in the liver. If you want to treat the liver, let's say a liver cancer patient. We just treat an end-stage liver cancer patient, sent home to die, and he recovered totally from cancer. We are meeting the patients on Monday. They came all the way to say thank you. They want to tell to the world that this is how we have been treating. We just gave him the liver peptides. I didn't give the cells, because the cells will be too stimulating for him. The cell can be stimulating for cancer patient. I do not believe in giving stem cells for cancer patient. But moving into the field of immunology, the important thing is to super boost the immune system. We gave the thymus peptides, we give the super transfer factors. There are thousands of publications on thymus therapy in Germany on treating cancers. They super boost the immune system first. We don't go with chemo or radio in Germany first. We will look into your immune system first. Because all cancer patients will have compromised immune system. When you go for chemo or radio, it will further go down, and so most of the time the patient die not because of the cancer. The patient die because of the low immune system. he is also affected with infections of other disorder coming in. So there's a lot of things you have to understand. I love the brain so much. It's my favorite subject. And I love to treat every brain disorder as much as I can. And through our experience for the last 40 years in this field, I've seen so many miracles in my life. I would say every month we have some miracles. Every day we see some good results from the patient we are treated. Okay. Now, that are shown in the case studies. We have so many books. You can go through the books. Now, this is something I'd like to show you. Look at the organs here. They are so young and you are already aging. Do you realize that? Okay. So while yesterday with my lectures, there was 2 patients coming up with an eye problem. One guy was saying, I can't see totally. Okay, and he came and attend the lecture. So I say, there may be some solution as long as there are some living tissues. So I need the ophthalmologist report. If I can find there's still some living tissues, we can regenerate. So that means to say, even for retina pigmentosa, RP, it can be treated. Okay, that means for glaucoma, it can be treated. We have treated a mayor's wife in USA on glaucoma. She spent millions around the world. She didn't have the result. During COVID, I just sent her an eye peptide. It only cost them $800 US. And that week itself was a total change until today. So there's some cheap alternative. We only give the peptides. We don't even give the stem cells. Of course, I treated some billionaires in USA here, in Dallas. I go to Dallas very often. And there was one with an eye stroke. They already lose one eye, and they only have 20% with the other eye. So when I say I give you the eye peptide, he's so afraid because putting in the eye give him a phobia that he may also be blind. Then he will lose both eyes and forever. So I gave him an idea. I can inject the eye peptide into your buttock. You see the results yourself. It improves so much for him. Okay. So because he's a billionaire, he can afford the stem cells. So I say, you use the stem cells. If you find it's expensive, then you use the peptide. Obviously, he take both. Okay, for his case. But what about people who can't afford it? If people can't afford it, it doesn't mean we don't treat you. We have to treat everyone. Our job is to enrich and heal life with compassion. So we do not judge by status. We don't look at the financial status for everyone. It's like I'm telling you, I don't make money treating the children. We really lose money treating the children because they pay lesser price. Okay, although it's the price of the adult. So there's a lot of things we are doing in life we want to do. We always believe life should be a life of giving. To give is better than to take. I'm a very staunch Buddhist, married to a staunch Roman Catholic. And I was converted to a Roman Catholic because of that. Okay, so I still have the Buddhism wisdom in me. So I believe very much in that. So this is another timeline of your brain, of your body, the timeline. So look at your brain. Your brain timeline is 60 to 70. That is scary. What's the point of having all the money in the world? You still have the good organ, but you have Alzheimer. What's the point? Okay? So is there a solution? Yes. Then what about your other organs for all of us as we age? Okay, we put on weight. We have other problems coming in. Heart is a very common problem for all of us. What about diabetes? It's common for all of us. Some of us don't even realize it. After 41 or 4 could be a diabetic. What about our kidney is sensitive? So everything comes in the way. If you say, I'm totally healthy after 45, I don't believe in that at all. Okay, I don't. Okay. So the blood test from you or the lab will not lie. This is my contribution in Cambridge. I submitted this as a chapter. I use the word you age acutely down. You don't age just 1 year when you're 65 to 66. After 60, when you celebrate your first birthday on your 60, you are aging 2 years or 3 years faster. So if I say you age from 65 to 66, you're enjoying your birthday and celebrate, you're actually aging more than 1 year. I have to say that. I give you my personal experience. I used to think that, I can keep myself very young. Last year I did a biological test at 62. I found I'm 46. I said, good, I'm 16 years younger. Wonderful. Okay? So I feel good. But this year, I come to realize I can feel that I age faster. Okay? I used to give stem cell to myself every year. But I start to change my perception. Because the way I age is no longer this way, it's this way, but it goes sharper. So I start to give to myself every 10 months. Okay? I start to do that for myself too. Okay? Of course, I monitor my hormones. I monitor my sugar level. Imagine you're traveling 20 days a month, going to 10 countries. It's very difficult to adapt to the lifestyle because when you arrive at night, there's no more food for you. And most of the food you have will be a burger. Okay? Junk food, fast food, processed food. Processed food will make you live shorter. I always say when you eat lesser as you age, you live longer. When you take more meat, you live shorter too. Okay? Because all the organs have to work. The more your organs have to work, the more lifespan there will be. Because they are just like the parts of a car. In the sense that the organs, like the parts of the car, the car parts can be changed, but you can't change your organs. Please remember that. So what is the future of organ transplantation? The future of organ transplantation is the cell transplantation of specific organs. Because if you call yourself to be a master in regenerative medicine, and I use the word bioregenerative medicine because we are dealing with biological, that means to say you should be regenerating all the organs in your body. As long as they are living tissue, even if they are dying tissues, you can regenerate them with the cells or the stem cells or a cheaper alternative, the peptides of the stem cells. So that's what today is all about. We're going to talk about the peptides of the stem cells, which can still do the job to a certain extent. It's like driving a Toyota or Honda instead of driving a Mercedes S-Class or a Lamborghini. Sometimes you don't need a Lamborghini to reach the place. The intention, the destination was to reach the place. You're not running against time, then you don't need a Lamborghini. Okay? If you have intent to go to another place by car, let's say you need 12 hours. With a Lamborghini, you need in 3 hours. If you're rushing against time, yes, but you're taking your time relaxingly, then you will use a lesser, cheaper car to do that. And this is what we do in our fields of regenerative medicine. This is what I did again for a submission in Cambridge at that time. You know, how many stem cells do you have? When you're born with 37.2 trillions of life cells. There are some super cells or queen cells. Imagine them as queen bees. The cells are the bees. So there'll be one stem cells over 10,000 life cells. But by the age of 60, remember I said you only have 5% left for a normal person who don't smoke and drink, okay, in good lifestyle. Now you will have 1 over 800,000 to 1 million. So you don't have a lot of cells to regenerate anymore. So you have to take care of yourself in a lot of ways. The change of lifestyle is important. If someone will say, oh, you can't take this, you can't take that, you can't do this, then there's no meaning in life to me too. You must have moderation in life. So I believe in moderations. I like to enjoy life to the fullest. And for that matters, how are you going to live longer then? You must do the repair. You must do the stimulation of the existing stem cells in your body. Stimulation. Then you can use the mesenchymal cells. Okay, the mesenchymal cell will do the stimulation. The mesenchymal cells never do the homing or the regenerations. To regenerate each specific organs, you must home. To home, you must have the same molecules, the same amino acid, and the same proteins. So if you give the wrong type of stem cells, you will never see the results. This is what a lot of Americans patients who come to Europe or Asia and tell me and told us, Mike, I've done so many stem cells, I spent millions. You know, I don't believe in what you're doing anymore. Okay, I don't believe that you can do that. So I have to explain to them what you have done and to what level they can do it. Okay, if someone will say, I give you the mesenchymal cells and it will last forever, or it can be for a long time, no. To last a few months, yes. Anti-aging, stimulation along the membrane of the cells. Because I deal with mesenchymal cells. I do with human stem cells, I do with animal stem cells, I do with plant stem cells, I do everything. we blend along. Sometimes you have to blend along and use along. Okay? Can you use animal and human stem cell at the same time? Yes. We can do that at the same time. Okay? So we have to blend. Now, again, I was saying that you need to reach the mitochondrial of the cells and the nucleus of the cells. If you have a different element, you can't reach. You're only stimulating along the cell membrane of the cells, the surface of the cell. This is not what you want because that is only stimulation. You need regeneration, you need repair. For that reasons, you must give the right type of stem cells. You can't only give one type. Because you have a series of organ problems. You have a series of organ malfunction as you age. How can you just give one and expect an A to become A to Z? There's nothing like this. There's nothing in the world of one therapy for all kinds of things, or any pills or capsule for all diseases. Nothing. They need a concoctions and a number of different protocols to do the job. Just like when we go with immunology or in the treatments of cancers in Germany or Switzerland, they will not go with chemo or radio first. The first thing is to check your immune system, how low it is. And how are we going to treat them with super boost immune system? Chemo or radio is the last alternative if we can. If we don't have a choice, then we have to. But again, you can reduce the dose to a certain extent. And can you give the thymus peptides or you give the super transfer factors along while you're undergoing the chemotherapy? Yes. In fact, it's good because your immune system is dropping, so I boost you up. Okay? Then you go for chemo, you start to drop again sharply down. But the dropping is different from not doing it in advance, the immunotherapy. So while the drop is less inclined. So this is what I'm trying to say. You are going down like this. So instead of going down like this, I suppose you go up. You go constant, and then when you do the chemo, you start to drop again. But this drop compared to the earlier drop is different. So you have to continue, and this is what we're doing along the way. Okay, everyone is an oncologist in Germany. Now, so all parts of the skin is going down to the same with the collagen. Mesenchymal cells will be good for the connective tissues. But let's say to do on the face, because we work with a lot of plastic surgeons, okay, and aesthetic doctors. Okay, some of them can be using the Botox or the fillers, but you already know about the Botox and the fillers. But again, with the fillers, it's just filling up. If you can give the mesenchymal cells to go into building up the connective tissue, is wonderful. But what do your skin need? Your skin needs the collagen. You're losing the collagen. There's another element which you need very much, the elastin of your skin. The elastin is important because it is not easy to rebuild the elastin. So you have to complement that. Okay? So again, with other disorder, it's the same, just like what we have with the organs here, or the cells. So from the cells, we move to a cheaper alternative for those who can't afford it. Okay? We have to go with the peptides and the exosomes. And this is where I say you have to go into very specific. I know in US, you're only having exposed to one or two type of exosomes. You shouldn't. You should have a base or a choice of varieties. Go into very specific. I want to treat my eye. I should be given the exosomes of the retina. I should be given the exosomes of peptides of the optic nerve or occipital lobe. That is the right way to treat. That's how I believe in. And you can have that. So again, when it comes to specifications and precision in medicine. Now, we all know from the chart here, you have the different types of stem cells. You're very exposed to the multipotent cells because this is what US is promoting all along. But there wasn't something which is very much promotes the precursors and unipotent. We call them unipotent cells or progenitor cells. But go to PubMed, you will find thousands of publications on PubMed itself. Thousands of publications in USA. Again, in the field of organotherapy, which was molded up 200 years ago by the French, the Swiss, and the Germans, and the Soviets. It's 200 years in history. They've been using the sheep all along. You have been hearing that they go to Switzerland, they were injected with some sheep cells, and then they become younger because they're given different types of sheep organs. It's been ongoing for today. Today, even in Switzerland, to take your blood and put it back to you, you go to jail. You can't even do autologous in Switzerland today. The doctors can't do that. But to inject a human animal peptide of the heart, liver, kidney for your organ, for your problem, they allow it. So the regulations of each country is different then. So don't look into one part of USA, you know. Don't just look into USA, look into the whole world. So Japan are smart, the Japanese, they go with the human, but they also use the animal. And what about China? They are moving. What about Indonesia? They are moving. So it's high time for us to look into the whole picture. The important thing is as long as they don't harm. Okay? Again, with the animal, a lot of us will say, oh, there may be a risk of zoonosis. Let me tell you, there are thousands of drugs from animals. Heparin is also made from pigs. They are the most used drugs in the world. Because before, during, and after surgery, you need heparin. It comes from pigs. The main source is China. Okay? It's still the biggest source. So, there's a lot of things we must understand. This is a very simple chart. I draft it out. We deal with all kinds of stem cells. I'm not pro any kinds of stem cells. I'm only pro to the diseases and the malfunction of that particular organ of the patient, and we target to that area. So we go into very targeted organ-specific or brain-specific disorder of the patient. And every patient has a different spectrum. When we want to talk about autism, ADHD, every child is a different spectrum. Every diabetic patient is a different spectrum. Every diabetic patient will need the islet cells. But some will have an eye problem, some may have a nerve problem, but everyone will need the kidney. Because that is the end game of a diabetic patient, the kidney transplant. So we must protect the kidney. Again, some of the organs are similar, some are not. But along the way, they also have other aging disorder, degenerations. So in other words, you will be given around 14 to 16 different types of organ cells to regenerate yourself. And this is openly, easily found in the profiling of your lab work. Your lab work tells a lot about you. So I would say it's true the hormones and blood don't lie, because you're also looking at your hormones, okay? So these are some of the things I like to show to the world. You are as young as yourself. So what's the point of getting a diabetic guy who is 63 and he has diabetes and you're getting his cells and put it back to him? You won't serve any purpose, let me tell you. So if someone were to tell you that I'm going to take 200 cc of your blood, I'm going to find the stem cells there, and I'm going to do some spinning and increase the stem cell to 200 million, wow, you're so happy. From 2 million, it becomes 200 million. So you're thinking about amount of cells. Let me tell you, it is not the quantity of the cell which matter here. It's the quality of the cells. Why are you so concerned about the quantity? Cells will divide. When they divide, they will expand. So what we want is, before they go into the body, we want to keep them in the best position, and then when we inject into the body, they must expand inside. So I will always say the quantity of the cells is important, very important, okay? So I will not believe in giving an 80-year-old guy his own cells and he will become younger. I don't believe in that at all, okay? Because he wasn't giving the right type of cells, okay? If we have given the cells of his grandchild, he probably will become younger. But that is only a stimulation on the membrane of the cells. Again, becoming younger means you must have younger organs. Will they have younger organs here? No. Feeling of younger, yes. But not the real repair. To go into the real repair, we don't have a choice. Okay? We are forced to have to take it from xenografts, animal source. Sheep, for example. And the latest finding is rabbit. And you'll be shocked and surprised for some of you that they come from US FDA. The animals are coming from Charles River. Charles River is the world #1 supplier of laboratory animals. And they must be SPF, specific pathogen free. They must be specific pathogen free. The word itself already told you that they are free from virus and bacteria. Are they safer than human? My answer is yes. They are even safer than human. Because in human, you don't know the history of the woman who gave you the placenta or the mesenchyme or the umbilical cord. You don't know the history. Neither do you know the history of any man for that woman. So there's no history. Is there a risk? There was a recent publication this week that mesenchymal cells will transfer from a patient to another. That means the immunogene is also transferred over. We have to understand that too, okay? So in a way, what is the strongest cells and the best cells? I would say before it's out from the mother, the fetal stage. Again, this is something I need to clear up for all of you. Please remember this very well, because every doctor is asking us. In the fetal stage, all the 400 over different types of cells, stem cells, of all animals, including man, sitting on the animal kingdom, they are all alike. One more time. In the fetal stage, all the 400 over different types of cells and stem cells of all organs, all our 78 organs, of all animals, including man sitting on top of the animal kingdom, they are totally alike. So the homology is alike. There is no rejection, there is no emphatic shock or whatever. We have been doing it every day. Every hour we are talking here, we are spending here with you, we are actually doing it across all over the world. There is no rejections. What about the peptides? No rejection. If there's no rejection with the cells or the stem cells, obviously the peptides will not have the rejection because they are smaller proteins. Allergy comes in because the proteins is big size. The stem cells will have the biggest size because they have stronger doses. Okay, so coming back to the peptides, this is another cheaper alternative which we would like to introduce to you today is because it's cheap. That means it's affordable to everyone. I use the word affordable because the peptides is only costing you a few $100 or the most $1,000. So it's affordable to treat a patient. Okay, so if someone will ask you, Mike, if I were to go to your clinic in Santorini or to go to Lugano or to go to Athens or to go to Bangkok, how much do I have to pay you? I would say if you want the 6-star stem cells, you pay 36,000 euro or 39,000 US, inclusive of 4 days, 3 nights, limousine, hotel, food, everything, inclusive of detox, repair, everything. We don't just give you the stem cells, we check everything about you and do everything. Because it's not the way just to give the stem cell without detoxing the body. We have to look into your body. We have to do everything. Okay? So again, if someone is saying, Mike, I can't afford it, Yesterday some of you have asked me, I can't afford it. Is there an alternative? I say, yes. Just take the peptides. You do the detox yourself. Okay? Just take the peptides. Then it costs you less than $1,000. You see the difference here? There's a lot of difference. So there are solutions, okay? So, sources, I use the word specific pathogen-free for animal-based. I use human stem cells all along, okay? I always look into all the sources, the best thing for you. We deal with a lot with plants. We have 80 drugs made from plant, approved by German FDA and producing in Germany for the last 40 years. They're all for cancer patients. That means there's a lot of drugs therapy from plant. They're approved in Germany, selling there for all the cancer patients in the hospitals legally, but they're not sold in USA, for that matters. It's high time to open up the idea. Just like when you have cerebral lysine, it's made in Austria for 70 years. Some of the doctors here is asking, Mike, can you get me cerebral lysine? I say, yes, it's come from Athens. It comes from Austria, sorry. And the doctors are looking for them because it's not allowed in USA. But they are approved as drug in Europe for 70 years, for Alzheimer's patient. But today we have better solution than cerebral lysine. So we have some better solution. If I have to treat Alzheimer's patient, then I will give them specific brain cells of the brain for their problem. Okay. So again, with the solutions of 40 over different types, it's good. So when we treat a patient, we normally, if they can afford, we give them the stem cells or the cells. But after going back to the country, they may follow up with the peptides. It's like treating a kidney patient of CKD 4 and 5. One of our experience treating a CKD 5, he had moved to 3A. He has been treated for the last 6-7 years. He's still off dialysis until now. He's an American doctor. I will show you the picture afterwards. American doctor who has been treated and is off dialysis until today, since 2019. Because we give him the stem cells of the renal, and we give him some epithelial cells, which may come from the mesenchyme. But you still need the renal cells. Without the renal cells, you can't do the repair of the renal. Okay? So the support therapy can be used as a main therapy. That's a good part here we are talking about. I give you a chart of, I use the word all, our. This is what we do in our manufacturing. We provide everything. Okay? I would not say you can't afford this, you can't do the other, you can still. So we have a choice. But again, sometimes, if you look further down, like MO, the mitochondrial peptides, or the organelles, they may even work better than the stem cells in US. And they cost only $1,000. You'll be surprised. They work better is because we go into specific. We have a few hundred types of them. So it's up to the physician who treat to give the right prescription. If the physician didn't give the right prescription and the protocol, what you expect the result to be? You will never see the result. If that guy is having a liver problem, and you give him a heart, you expect the heart to repair the liver? You will never. But if you give the liver, it will repair the liver. So this is what I'm trying to say, okay? Specificity is important. So again, we have them in oral, sublingual. We won a few innovation rewards. We have won 30 of them in the world, in Switzerland and Germany, by creating an injectable, this is 20 years ago, turning into nano size, and become nano size to go sublingual. And it works still, just like injectable. Of course, you can also spray into the nose to reach the brain. Of course, we do intranasal for injection, but spraying sometimes will do the job. What about baby or people, the kids, they don't want an injection. So we have to think of the sublingual. Now, the world's smallest virus is 27 nanometers. That is the world's smallest virus. Okay? Here, we make it into 2 nanometers. That means they're very small. That's why they can go through the mucosa of your tongue. Because the mucosa of your tongue is 50 to 75 nanometers. So this was a German therapy which has been ongoing for many years, but 20 years ago, our team members turned it into nano size with the nanotechnology, and it works very well for the patient. Okay? Now, when you see a picture of all this, we also have the XX, that is the exosomes. But here we are talking about 400 over different types of exosomes. So it wasn't one type. So my experience as a manufacturer and as an educator in this field and being the forefronters of people who first introduced exosomes even to US and the world in 2011, I have to say you have to use the right type of exosomes, otherwise it won't work too. Okay? The right type is important. The right type of peptides is important. You ask me, will the peptide works better than the exosome? Our peptides, I will not want to mention others, our peptides work better than the exosomes. Just for your information. Okay? I'm not saying about others. Okay? We do all the research, we check on everything, because we are challenged all the time. You cannot claim anything as you like. I know in the world there's a lot of people who will sell an A by using a B claim, okay, and sell it as a B. You see, you use other people's publication and sell as yours. We do not believe in that. All the products, all the therapy coming from us must have publication, and that's the reason why we spend a lot of money on the publication. Now let's look at autism here, okay? This is found in the stem cell book of ours. We are the first people who introduced stem cells in the medical textbook. The world's first medical textbook for stem cells doctors was published by our team in 2006 to the world first. 13 years later, we came with another book. It's not here, but it came with a book, okay? All the books are in my counter. It was the Bible in Japan until today. It became the Bible in Japan. It comes with 8 languages of the world. So that book itself, I just given to Dr. Luke, okay, as a compliment, okay. So that is important to understand everything all these charts are given, because this is a guideline for all the doctors. who like to know more about the stem cells. And every doctors like this because we are telling you which part of the brain cells to be given for Alzheimer patient or for autistic patient or for whatever. Okay, so we cover all the diseases. So again, with the Down syndrome, I know we have lesser Down syndrome in this world, but imagine in certain parts of the world, the Muslim world cannot do abortion. So even if with Down syndrome, they will have the child. So it's same with the Roman Catholic. They can't do abortion, so they will have the child too. Okay, so this is the way we have to treat. We give the different types of brain cells. It's not just a medulla oblongata or the frontal lobe. We look into the specifications of the patient and we give accordingly. Same for the autistic children. We have done a lot of autistic children who came from USA for information. Every month we have autistic children coming from USA. Some go all the way to Malaysia to be treated. Okay, some will go to Europe. Now this is another big issue with Alzheimer, AD. Someone was telling me in US, Mike, can you guarantee we will see the results? So because they want a guarantee, and I always say in medicine there's no guarantee. Even in life there's no guarantee. Is there a guarantee you'll be with your wife or husband forever? Or he will not leave you or he will change? I mean, there is no guarantee in life. Anything can change. Okay? So I always say in life there's no guarantee. In medicine it's the same, there's no guarantee. But if you insist you want a guarantee that you will have your money back, if you don't see a single result from what we have given you, I will refund 400%. I can do that. But if you see the result, you have to pay 2 times. Fair. Okay? That is a fair way to treat. But the extra you pay will all go to the donation. I don't want the money. I want a donation. So I treated one diabetic patient, a chronic diabetic patient. He's one of the rich guy in Shenzhen. He's the owner of a big hospital, the biggest hospital in Shenzhen. He's only 46, a chronic pancreatitis and diabetic patient. His father is 85. He tried all the stem cells in the world in China. And he said, anyone who can treat my father, even with 1% improvement, I pay $1 million US. So his medical director is from Canada. He came to Malaysia for a lecture. He said, Mike, are you sure you can treat Parkinson? I'm going to introduce you to my boss. I said, yes, I will treat all the Parkinson patients. So I went to see this man. He flew me down with my doctors. At that time, it was Dr. Yuri. Okay. He said, you sure you can treat my father? He's 85 years old. Look at him. He's lying in the bed, you know. I say, yes. Okay. And if you can treat my father, even with 1%, okay, I pay you $1 million. It's a good deal, actually. I don't need the $1 million. But since you're giving me a $1 million, which I'm very confident of receiving it, I say yes. Okay? And I say, if you don't see the results, you take back the money. That means you pay, at that time, you only pay me $25,000. That was many years ago. 25,000 US. Those days the price are cheaper. We flew down, we treated him. That man started to walk. He's on the testimonial. You can see the video of him. He's walking so well. Okay. Next is the next issue. This guy is embarrassed now because he haven't paid the $1 million after a few months. On the 4th month, he's supposed to pay the $1 million. So I told him, you still have to keep to your word. But I do not want this money. But you must pay this money. This money must go back to the orphanage of China. You can write the check to them, but it must be given to you because you're the donor. So in appreciation for you, thank you so much. He paid the money. Okay. So there's something we have to do here. Okay. We must have the less unfortunate. So someone in US asked me a few months after I gave my presentation in RevFest. I'm always giving a presentation in RevFest. Sit on the panel. And another guy came here and said, we are from a scientific body. Can you guarantee Alzheimer and Parkinson patient? I said yes. So I give the same proposal. Okay? I'm so agree to take the challenge. If anyone here would say, Mike, I'm going to challenge you and you have to return back the money if I treat you and you don't see a single result from not even 1%, I will always tell you, you will lose the money. Because we study so thoroughly, precisely into your organ. We look into the problem of each organ from your blood test, the last 3 months. We are sure to detect what we have to give. So if I'm giving you heart, liver, kidney, or whatever, all the organs, don't tell me the 14 different type of organs given to you, none of the organs will improve. Impossible. The liver is easy to be improved. Okay? Even for the brain, it's not difficult. I just treated an autistic child here of 24. The parents came over to us and said thank you 2 nights ago. They never expect the improvement. And they went on to tell someone in Dallas. Okay, so there are a lot of patients. They're looking for, they are not aware that there's something which can be done for all these people. I believe there is something that can be done for all these people if we go to the right one. Okay? And we follow up with the peptides. So it's the same for Parkinson. This is another disorder. It wasn't easy to treat, but you go to my website of EuropeanWellness.com, there's a lot of Parkinson patients there. A lot. From different parts of the world. So it's easy to be treated, give the right stem cells or peptides. It can be done. Okay? Of course, the question now is, to give the stem cell or you give the peptides or exosome will work better. Let me tell you, give the stem cells. Give the stem cells, follow up with the peptides. We don't want the patient to keep coming for us because each time they come to us, they have to pay money. We feel the pinch too. We feel the pain. Not everyone is rich. Most of us don't have all the money in the world. Okay? So we do not want them to keep coming. We also try not to make them come, although we are monitoring their health all the time. Okay? But in chronic diseases like Parkinson or Alzheimer, I would say do the stem cell one time, follow up with the peptides. And if you can afford, come another time. Okay? Later part. So the next question is, how many stem cells I have to do then for the rest of my life? Let me tell you, we have to do many times. You know why? Because your organ have a lifespan. So I reverse your organ by 6 to 16 years for the first time. The next time when you do the stem cell, you won't be 6 to 16 years. Otherwise, you become a baby. It's impossible. Okay? So the first time when we do a reversal of 6 to 16 years, you don't expect the next time will be another 6 to 16 years. Let's say the first time we reverse the age, biology of 10 years. The next time when we do, you won't be going down from there and going down from there, no. But they will still improve. Because when you go down, you don't go like this. You go like this. So the moment you go like this, I pull you up again. You go constant. So what is the theory, the story around here? The story around here is to play the dragging game. We are all dragging time. We don't steal anything in time, but we must. We don't steal anything in life, but we must steal time. All of us. You want to live longer. You want quality life, so you have to steal that time. Don't steal anything but the time. Okay, I love the word steal. This time as a thief, but steal the time. So you drive a Lamborghini, you're accelerating. Hey, you press the brake for 1 second, tap into the brake, and then tap it back to the accelerator. What happened? What happened to the car? The car was going full force, and all of a sudden, it paused for a while. And then it started to accelerate again. You change the momentum of speed. It's the same with aging. You have to change the momentum. It's the same with diseases. It's the same with diseases. It's the same with treating a diabetic patient. It's the same with treating a heart patient. We do the reversal and we delay the progression. So if someone were to tell me, you know, that guy is 80 years old, he's diabetic, chronic diabetic, and if you reverse his age, you know, and he went on, and the next 20 years he come back again, what's the problem? You can still do again, okay? So you drag him to live longer. So that is a solution of finding the root and treat the root, and not just to treat the symptoms. We treat the symptoms, we treat the root, we treat everything. Our job is to cut the drugs at the end of the day. Because every drug, like I say, including unnecessary supplements, will have a toll on your kidney. All. Your kidney have to process. Okay? So the more work you have to do, the more you have, it will go down. It's like the pancreas. The pancreas is 50 to 55. The pancreas has to release the enzyme to digest the meal each time. So I'm telling a lot of us here, or telling many of my people, each time you have a meal, take something raw first, a salad or a fresh food, because that will release the enzyme to digest the meat or the meal. that will cut down the release of the pancreas from the pancreas, the enzyme. You need a digestive enzyme from the pancreas to digest the meal. But if I have fresh salad without the dressing contains sugar. So I try not to have the dressing, but you can put olive oil, then it's good. That will be good for you to extend your pancreas life. That is how I look at things, okay? So extending your organs life is important. Again, we thought of so many diseases. Okay, it's so hard to see this, this is a cardio problem. So the main thing will be the heart problem. But heart disease patients also have other series of other problems. Heart diseases also can cause the weakening of the kidney, the artery, so many other things will come in. So we look at the problems of the patient. Now, diabetes type 2 is common for all of us here to be diabetic. I believe there's many in here who are diabetic without even realizing it, okay? So it's a lifestyle condition, and for that matters, we must take care of our pancreas. You must have the pancreas. You must have the islets of the pancreas. You must have the liver. You must have the other organs to take care of. Okay, all this can be shown in the lab work. So now is where I told you about the peptides. These are oral peptides. We have them in injectable form. We have them in IV form. We have them in topical form. It's meant for the face. In the case of face peptides, okay? Now, what is so special about this nano-organopeptide? It can be IV, it can be injected, IM, it can be intradermal into the face, but you don't use a liver for the face. You can use a placenta or skin for the face, or mesenchyme for the face, but it can also be of other organs. So this is a good part about this. There is no allergy factor because the nano size is 2 nanometers. It's so small, okay? We have done more than 10 publications on this in the world, including all published in stem cell journals. It's been in the market for 25 years, nothing special. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is the puzzle. You give the right color, you give the right size, so everything comes in, the molecules, the proteins, and the amino acids. The homology must be the same. Okay. Now again, for aesthetics, of course, aesthetic, we have skin, placenta, mesenchyme, collagen. This can be given. We work together with a lot of plastic surgeons and aesthetic doctors. They use along with lifting, they inject inside to build up the connective tissues. Everything can be done to a certain extent. Okay. Now, the good part about this is it comes from FDA approved source. Okay, they're cutting it.
Panel.
Okay, all right. So I didn't know about the time. What time now?
It's 2.
Okay. So I go fast. I didn't realize time goes so fast. Okay. Now this is my hair. I've done 4 publications. I grow the eyelid and eyelash of a woman. Okay, you don't need a tattoo. And of course, the hair. This is what you do on yourself once a week. Pardon? Yes. Every patient. You look at my hair, I'm 63. I lose 150 strand of hair a day. I'm aging, obviously I'm losing it, but I'm growing baby hair. The baby is all black. That's a good part. Okay, I trim my hair every 3 weeks. Okay, it's getting very long and thick. So again, these are so many things I don't need to explain on the exosomes. Okay, and I came up with something very new to the world. It's called picosize. It means they are subparticles. They are 1,000 the size of nano size. No one has this in the world. We'll be introducing it in the next few months to the world. Okay, this is really to the world. That means you don't need an injectable. It can be through your tongue and it will go in well. Okay, this is what we go with psoriasis patient by just applying on them the pico-sized particles. Okay, you have to do a lot of research. Okay, we do it all the time. I'm moving very fast. I didn't know the time goes on so fast. These are on the hair, and I always believe in the DD talk notes. And if there's anything else, I'm at the booth. Okay, I'm there for the next 2 days. Thank you so much. Thank you. You like the lecture? Okay, you can have my name card and send me a WhatsApp. I will answer all the questions.
Yes.
Okay? I just leave my name card.
Doctor,
Yes.
I made a mistake. Our
Yes.
panel is that room. You can keep going. My apologies. I'm very sorry about this.
No, it's okay.
Hey, lady, let's go.
I'm coming.
Alien event
Okay, I'll
panel.
answer all the Q&A. Yes. Since we have the time, just ask me any questions. Someone was asking me about muscular dystrophy. Okay? Muscular dystrophy is loss of muscle.